Project Pat saves himself and others with his new focus. So Memphis legend Project Pat has a new profound faith in God. Pat's former gangster mentality has shifted to gospel. The Memphis rapper has been visiting various prisons across the country trying to save one life at a time. And here's this video from via TMZ.
All I can say, man, is all glory be to God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't take no credit for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Did you ever imagine that would be your reality, you know?
No, you never know what's going to happen until you go to God and find out what he needs you to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people think they know, but you don't know. He know everything. We don't know. We only know a little something.
How many people do you think you like help, like, you know, bring to God, like, at your shows? Because I saw you it was like 300, 700, like.
We've been going into the prisons a lot. Me and my partner Mike Brown, and man, it's probably been over at least about 20-some people got saved.
That's incredible.
Yeah, the last few years. Yeah.
Man,
the goodness of God, bro.
Well, listen, I love to see a man with purpose, man.
Hey, man, praise the Lord.
All right. So, considering Pat's history in rap, is this surprising?
It's never surprising to me when people, I don't want to say mature, because, you know, there are people who have become mature and it doesn't particularly line up with a certain spirituality. But, you know, regardless of what, you know, certain rappers rap about, a lot of them, especially if they're from the South, grew up in Southern Baptist tradition. A lot of them, they went to church. Their parents were ministers or whatever.
Grandparents, somebody.
You know, somebody in that house in Memphis, was praying for Pat this whole time. And, you know, sometimes you grow out of it, you know, like. At one point, we probably, if we had this podcast 40 years ago, we'd be like, wow, is it surprising that Al Green, after singing about the love and happiness and all the things that he sang about, now he's preaching the word? I hate to turn it to Kanye, but this is what Project Pat is doing, what Kanye West thought he was doing.
I like that one. Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess anytime someone takes this part of and path in life, I'm never surprised. And, you know, there's somebody who's going to listen to Project Pat before they listen to any, you know, mega church pastor, because, you know, Pat's been in the streets. Pat's been to prison, you know, before he was going voluntarily to, you know, to speak to the people who are in there now. So I give him all the props in the world. I think this is fantastic. And I think he's sincere about it. That's what I think is what moves me more than anything, because sometimes I'm thinking, you know, a lot of times when the devil stops paying, you see, hey, what's God talking about?
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think that's where Pat is. Pat could be, instead of going to these prisons to preach the gospel, he could be anywhere, you know, getting show money, you know, to do what he's been doing for the majority of the time he's been in public life. So, you know, I mean, like, I think what really gets me is the sincerity of it.
Yeah, I echo that. It's authentic. And this is not a Mace pivot. This is, the Mace pivot was bullshit, if we being honest.
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, he was involved with whatever Diddy had going on, so I don't know.
Honestly, I thought Mace was
I never bought Pastor Mace
until he wanted to sign with G Unit. Then I thought that was a weird pivot.
I never bought it. But this right here, this right here seems way more authentic to me, and this shows growth and maturity because he's been through a lot. It's documented. So if it comes off authentic and this is, you know, it's on his heart for him to do this, I'm all for it. I'm not mad at this at all. I think it's dope. I hope he continues to do it, continues to go around the country and speak, you know, and get with people and help them change their lives. Prison, inside prison, outside prison. I'm with it. I like it. I think it's real.
Yeah, honestly, I can't speak on another man's path to salvation, so to speak. So, I mean, I applaud him for doing it. It's definitely honorable. And it, like, again, like I said, it does seem like it's authentic. But, yeah, I mean, I really don't have anything else to add to that conversation. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, I don't really either. Yeah, I mean, good for him. It's really kind of all
good for him.
You know,
and you know, like I said, sometimes you're able to reach people just in a way, like, you know, sometimes you got to talk to people where they are. You know, there's a lot of people who, you know, profess their love for the gospel and would never go to a prison. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing if you say these things and you want to come to somebody's church. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand the word is needed there. But, you know, when you're going to involve yourself with the least of us, the ones who have shunned by society. I just think that is a whole nother level of commitment. I don't think he's in this to see what he can get for himself. This is about other people. And so that's why I, am so happy for him. And honestly, that's, because this is a complete 180 as far as, what he's rapped about. And the thing is, I'm still such a fan of Project Pat. I've always
Absolutely. Only thing I can add on that too is this also makes why he's a much better artist than Pastor Troy.
So number 2, is there a chance that some of his longtime fans could feel conflicted by this change?
I don't think so.
And like going to his shows, hearing him perform older records.
Well, I think he is still performing some of those older records. I mean, same thing happened with Prince. Prince had a lot of neuroerotic music. Once he found Jesus Christ, Jehovah God, became a Jehovah's Witness. Mm-hmm. His performance changed, but it didn't take away from his artistry and his performance as a whole. I mean, we all witnessed what he did at the Super Bowl. Yeah, that was amazing. Mm-hmm.
But do we know any records from Pat outside of the stuff that he's done?
I've actually heard some of the newer joints that he's done since he's been saved, and it still sounds on par for a Project Pat feel. Is just not the same content. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I'm glad you said that, because that's what I haven't heard. I haven't heard any of the records post, like Terry said. But now I'm gonna go look them up because I hadn't heard them.
They're not bad. I mean, when you think of a performer like DMX had some really powerful music that would pull at your heartstrings and were very emotional. And at every concert, he would lead or end with a prayer. So this is what he was. This is what he embodied at all times, and he still had that same subject matter. Somebody like Project Pat has kind of went from not being the one that might pray for you at the beginning to the one that's doing it now, because he's came into that life. And I'm not saying that DMX was a gospel rapper or a Christian rapper, but he knew who God was. He definitely wanted you to know that too, and he wanted you to feel it. And a lot of people talked about how they felt when he prayed, when he was at these concerts. And it didn't affect anybody's experience as far as just because he's talking about God. I don't think it's going to do anything.
I think with DMX, though, the one thing I would say is he came out the gate that way. Mm-hmm. This is a pivot. This is an actual pivot. X was on brand with X from the jump. Yeah. So I think that's what makes this a little bit different. That's why I posed the question about possibly being conflicted, because that's a nice turn for people that's been rocking with Pat for a long time. Not that they don't like it. I'm just talking about just the overall experience.
Yeah, you're not really a legacy artist anymore, right? Because you can't do any of your old stuff.
Or if you dibble and dabble in your performances, then we look at it, we pull back and we say, okay, so what are you doing here? Are you in, or are you? Yeah. People may start doing it. Yeah. I'm not saying that's what will happen, but you have to take those things into consideration as well.
Bald head, scallywag.
I bet you he's still gonna perform that song.
I mean, he got to. He has to.
Yeah. There's certain records.
I need Chicken Head.
He's just gonna have to.
Yeah, maybe
he edits them.
Yeah. I was sitting here thinking before I said that, like, how can I edit this bald head scallywag? I mean, it's not that it's like
already edited,
kind of, but like it's the connotation. It's like this. Yeah. It's what it's. Yeah, it's the content.
I'm gonna need Chicken Head.
Though. But there's going to be real sanctified people who are going to say, "Now, Pat, you can't serve two masters." Well, they're going to, but at the same time, it's their judgment is not what he's worried about.
Yeah, they're going to say he still do secular music regardless, even though he's rapping and he's trying to rap with a Christian connotation. They'll still say it's secular music. Mm-hmm. So I don't think he's going to. I don't think it affects anything, honestly, because
I don't think he's worried about it either.
That's the part. I don't think he's worried. I don't think he's worried about it.
People that like old Project Pat are still going to listen to old Project Pat. That's true. At the end of the day.
And remember, like you're talking about old Project Pat, like these people are also the people who might have started with him. They're also 25 years older now. They're probably these are people who might be deacons in the church. These are people who
that came up on Pat.
They came up on Pat, and now they're part of they head of the building fund. You know what I'm saying? So like that's just how it goes.
Yeah, but it's just the authenticity for me. This seems legit.
I don't think I'm ever going to be head of the building fund.
No, you're not.
Hey, man. Hey. Never know. Hey,
I think I do.
Yeah. You didn't think Pat was going to be,
you didn't think that. You didn't see this coming either.
Evangelizing in prison.
I know myself a little bit more than Project Pat.
This isn't something that doesn't happen though. Like I see a lot of people that were in the streets and pretty much swept, changed their whole life around for the greater God, so to speak. So, I mean, this doesn't surprise me that he had an enlightening moment that made him pretty much want to change the way he lives.
Hey, man, good for him.
Yeah. Good for Pat, man. Shout out to Pat.
I think it is. Good for him.
I'm glad we have the same segment during the same show that we did. That Diddy segment, we kind of needed that.
Come on down,
Had to wash it. You know what I'm saying?
Now you see the math.
Yeah.
The math be math.
That's why it's placed there.
There we go.
Good job, Lon.